Hey, hello there, everybody. How are you doing? I actually really care how you're doing, whether you're with us live or you're watching us in arrears. By the way, for the folks who are watching us in arrears, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna adjust my lighting here. I gotta tell you, we love you, and we don't get to talk directly to you, but don't forget to leave a comment. Just make your pick down in the once we get to the end. Like, make your pick down in the comments. Just tell us how you're doing. For those of us who are watching after the fact, but to those who are here with us live in the chat, hi, I'm Chris. I'm with very orange-clad Jim McCormick, a big fan of the University of Miami.
Yeah, that
Orange-clad Jim McCormick.
Protestants, you know, that's the makes to the side of the flag. Just giving them a shout out.
All right.
It's just
Well, I mean,
it's
I feel
extending an
like
olive branch. It's an olive branch to my Protestant friends.
maybe the Dutch. Big fan of the
The
Dutch,
Dutch,
possibly.
they're like the Dutch.
Yeah. Is this possible? All right.
Surprisingly
So
famous for shortstops out of Curacao. So let's just keep going.
all right. We are brought to you by DraftKings for this preview of the Week 5 NFL schedule, in which there are 4 teams off, and Jim McCormick's Eagles are one of them. So he gets to avoid the knife's edge for 1 week. But we're gonna preview each game. We're gonna probably a couple of them we might just say hi and that's it. But we're gonna say what we've seen from an NFL perspective. We're gonna for those of us live, we're gonna take your questions as we keep going. So thank you for being with us and thank you for watching. And we'll probably make some picks too. And I mean, as far as picks go, I'm very, very even keeled. But Jim, when I went 11-2 against the spread last week, I did poo my pants.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have a couple proxies out there. I like to use that word, and they're out there, and some of them are on my Harris line. A couple of them play the Harris line, and
I
that's
like it.
cool. They do that, and then others play my line, and they don't talk to me as much. So, look, listen. Also, sometimes I think keeping track of everything is a little overrated. So, you know,
Well, you didn't say that other years in which I was like 10 games under 500 at this point, which you are familiar with at the moment. But by goodness, you're going to be fine. You're
I'll
going to
get
come
there.
back. As Kevin Kernick just said in the chat, last week was tricky too. So like, not only did I make money, but I also got credit because it was a tricky week, which I like. Um, do you want to do one fantasy question before we get going?
Sure.
One fantasy question from Juicy. Should I give up Josh Allen in exchange for Pat Mahomes and Jordan Mason?
Mm. I mean, that's a lot considering, yeah. But the only problem is, yeah, you're just betting. Then you're what's your end game there with you're getting with Mason? Because like, he gets you
Yeah.
to a certain point, and there's mystery. It would all come down to if you had McCaffrey, or you had some other plan, some other running back plan alternative.
Yeah.
So I don't love it. I'd rather have
I'm a no.
like Allen is so special right now, and this Mahomes thing has been going on for a while. So yeah.
Right. I'm a no. Only because like if you told me McCaffrey was definitely out, I'd be a
That's what
yes.
I
But
mean. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a no. All right. So we're gonna get going with the Week 5 games. We're gonna start with Thursday night. It is the Buccaneers at the Falcons. Yay! It's another NFC South game. I got the team right last week. I just didn't have the winning margin. So the Saints did cover, even though Atlanta kicks the winning field goal. One of my, did I mention 2 incorrect picks against the spread? The Falcons are hosting another divisional rival. And what I wanted to ask you is if you could do like a build a team in Madden and accidentally like randomly shuffle all of the players in this division, maybe not Panthers, but the other 3 teams, and like accidentally put them on each other's teams, and suddenly like Mike Evans is catching passes from Derek Carr. Would anybody notice?
No, yeah, it's like when Marvin Jones used to change teams and just nobody would notice. He just was like the Detroit paid him even when he was in Jacksonville. It's like, yeah, like they are interchangeable. I agree, and they have interchangeable narratives where they're all just kind of like, yeah, we have a quarterback, like he's here, but like there's just no like there's no maybe Penix, but even then, no. I mean, there's a Spencer Rattler wing of Saints fans, so yes, there is an interchangeability to it, which is unique, and it speaks to like I guess they all have this goal to always stay. It's the parity division where just
Yeah.
this much gets you there. So maybe that feeds that mentality. I don't know.
they probably in their heart of hearts don't want to finish like, please, can we be 9-8? We'll win the division then. But like, it kind of does. You're right. It kind of like does permeate the organizations. It's true that if you think of those three teams, and now with Dalton, the other one too, with Carolina too, there's this sense of like, okay, we've got this pretty expensive old quarterback. We can fix him. And these two teams, Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins, it's like, I mean, Mayfield's been really good. But the thing I'd say about Mayfield is that you're getting like the good part. Even Dave, as a Browns fan, knows what the good part of Baker Mayfield is, which is run around, bounce off of guys. You can't believe it. What a play. I can't, that looked dead. And you only have 2 interceptions so far. And that the problem with Baker Mayfield is always like, oh, I can't believe oh no, don't do that. Like that's the Baker Mayfield experience. And you just haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, the hero ball. Yeah. And I promised that I wouldn't talk about the Eagles, but that's like what's happening to Jalen Hurts is everything's hero ball. Everything is extend that play, make it the biggest. And somehow Mahomes, that's terrible. Baker Mayfield has learned to pick his spots. Yeah, no, very different.
Very, very different. All right. So you would expect this line to be pretty close. Falcons are 1.5 point favorites at Tampa, which is the way of the market saying these are the same team. These are exactly the same team. On a neutral field, we would make this even. So good luck. That's what they're saying. Good luck. Yeah. And so to you, Jim, I say good luck. What do you think?
Yeah, in the Spideyverse, they're both in the NFC South, like in separate NFC Souths. My thing is, I believe this Tampa team right now, just in terms of how they're playing. Obviously how they're playing, but they're not being punished yet so far for their secondary, which we thought was going to be a problem. Their corners are just like, they've let them all go over the years. Of course, they pay Antoine Winfield like the price of 3 corners, but
and he's hurt. Yeah,
and he's hurt, and they've also like let go. They've also kind of eroded it. But also the similarity between like them and say like New Orleans, the reason is because they're kind of all like this post Breeze Brady decay, where they're still trying to figure out, I think, their footing. In any case, Tampa's done that. Tampa, I think, of all the teams, has figured themselves out where they're this Baker team that's manageable. I think they get themselves, is what I mean. And they might be in the upswing in terms of there's like multiple skill players that are burgeoning, whereas I don't know.
I get it. Yeah. We had a lot of games to get to. Sorry. Your Buccaneers plus 1.5. I am also Buccaneers plus 1.5. I wanted to read some funny comments before we moved on to other games. Kevin says Kyle Pitts is the MySpace page of tight ends, which I don't know what it means, but it sounds like something Jim would say. And Kevin also says Baker Mayfield might pumpkin if anyone takes away the quick pass game. See, that's true for Chris Godwin, but like Mike Evans gets open down the field. I don't know. All right, let's do the London game. Hello, give me a Cockney. Give me a little Cockney accent there.
Oi, 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 yeah, oi.
It was very, very underrated and good. It was so good. Your mic blew out a little bit, which that's just it enhanced the experience. Frankly,
that's because it's a vintage mic. It's from 1956 London. So thanks.
London era, yeah, it's the groovy era, definitely. That's where we spent
like we
spent $120,000 on that microphone for you. You're very demanding. Yeah. So the Jets. The Jets are David Geffen. The Jets are visiting London, as are the Vikings. They're both going to be there. That Jets performance, I didn't know anything about it. You know what? Here's a little peek behind the curtain for the people watching and the people watching. I try, if I can, for the games I know I'm not going to cover on the Monday podcast, I try not to learn the score so that when I watch it on Monday afternoon, I don't know anything. And I succeed on very few games, but I succeeded on the Jets Broncos. And I considered that game I had Denver in that game, and like, there it is, exactly what I expected the Jets to be. Now, I grant you it was raining, but I think you feel the same way too. We both this summer were like very doubtful of the Jets, and that kind of there it was, right?
Yeah, this summer my brother made me watch the entire Gotti movie with John Travolta. It was like that Jets game. Like, I watched the whole thing and I was like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. So they're showing up, and probably Aaron Rodgers might have produced that. So, but they are who they thought they are. Like there is a Denny Green factor to the Jets where they're going to do this though. They're going to show up and they're going to have those moments where it's almost like an old ace who can get his fastball back once in a while, and like so.
Ryan says the Jets screwed me in Survivor. That's what I get for staking anything on the Jets. you know, like we both made Patriots covering on that Thursday night game against the Jets our best bet, one of the best bets of week 3, and we ate it in a hellacious way, and it just did feel like reality sort of, you know, coming. Like the Jet defense does seem legit. It was a little struggly the first couple of weeks. It does seem legit. It's running up against a really good Minnesota offense that, with Sam Darnold, like, you know, has he seen a defense as good as we think the Jets might be? Probably not, but he saw the Niners. Like, he hasn't seen crap. I just think this is kind of working. The line is Vikings -2.5 on a neutral field. Who do you have?
He saw Houston too, right? So I mean, he's seen like special edge rushers. Yeah. So just the way you were speaking and trending, I don't know if to say what you're picking, but I'm with Minnesota. It seems
we're not going to pull the McCormick reversal.
No, I'm not. No, I actually, and also, you know, you need to say revenge game because it's Darnold.
Revenge game. Yeah.
So obviously, it is a revenge game. Yeah, I think Sam Darnold is just the kind of guy who just loves supercuts, and he should be. and they don't have those in London, but it's working. I buy it. We're far enough in that I buy it. I buy not that I buy that he's always this good, like you said, but they're good, and their offense is good. They have multiple receivers. So yeah. I like it.
So I'm with you. We're also going to be both on Minnesota -2.5. I wanted to say that Steve says in the chat that he guessed the line was going to be Minnesota -5, and I guessed that it was going to be -4. What did you guess?
Yeah, I had 4. I thought it was going to be a weird London line. Yeah. But I think there's still respect out there for the Jets is the thing, right, for some reason.
So we'll get back to the rest of the games here momentarily. Let me stop and thank DraftKings for sponsoring us. We wouldn't be able to do this show and have the goofy fun that we have if DraftKings wasn't footing the bill. And if you'd like to say thank you to them for that, if you've never opened a DraftKings account, it's a great time to do it because they do still have their early season special going on, where if you open a new account and you sign up using the code HarrisTube, all one word, you're doing us a favor because it makes it like they got something out of sponsoring our show. It does you a favor because you make one $5 bet, you'll get $200 in bonus bets put into your account right away. We are talking about point spreads and stuff. We really want you to use this stuff very responsibly. Like $5 or $10 a game is plenty to get fun out of this. This is not meant to be like a money-making venture because long-term, I'm not going 11-2 every week. But DraftKings is a great place to do it. They've got awesome prop bets. They have fun lines that, you know, they kind of encourage you to win. Little specials that are pretty good value. So again, if you have never downloaded DraftKings, please do use the code HarrisTube. We thank them so much for listening. For sponsoring, for you for listening. So we've got Panthers, Bears. I don't know. It's an Andy Dalton revenge game, but he could revenge half the league. You know, we don't need to spend too much time on it. Just give me a pick. Actually, it's Chicago home -3.5.
Yeah, this is all about I just trust Chicago's defense. So it's the line is made to mess with your brain, but it's a very sharp line. But I'll give the points.
So you're taking the Bears -3.5.
Yes,
I have the Panthers. I have the Panthers +3.5, but I don't feel strongly about it. I'm with you. It's kind of a stay away game. Hey, before we even proceed further, what do you all say we do a like spike? Don't do it yet. But when I say 3, 2, 1, let's all. And I didn't. That was an example. That wasn't the actual 3, 2, 1. Neither was that one. When I say it's slower, let's all hit like at the same time because it does help the video. It really does. It's weird that it does. We might do one later in the show too. So here we go. Everybody in the chat. We've got 79 people watching right now. It's not a huge crowd, but we love you. Let's get more people in here with a like. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Like. I want to see all the hearts. I just like seeing all the hearts. Y'all are there's no cost to liking the video. Here's one. I saw one like. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's a frenzy. It's a fury. I really appreciate that. Many, many likes are coming through the transom. That is lovely. So Jim, let's do the Browns visiting the Commanders. And the reason I didn't want to skip over this game is because Jaden Daniels is awesome. He's been really, really good. And I don't know that I have a caveat for that. Like everything I thought about CJ Stroud, probably I like Daniels more right now because Stroud took a little longer. Like 4 games in, I'm sort of a believer.
That, yeah, and also there's this legs element, right? Not that Stroud needs that. Like he's such a dynamic passer, but there's this other element that he has. And he seems to do it in he picks his spots. It's not like they're leveraging it the way, like, for example, they're not just pounding him away. Like, it seems, I don't know, shrewd the way they're doing. You don't have to. He can pass well. So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to read. It was difficult for me to read this game because Cleveland. It's the Cleveland. I just do still believe, and maybe it's latent respect. I still believe in the defense to a degree, and it's my old boomer brain. I'm not a boomer, but let's call it boomer brain. With regards to rookie and like smart defense, but it's like Jim Schwartz is like, let's get the rookie. Like, so I don't know.
So I will say my brain kind of goes in the same place, and some of it is let's love Jaden Daniels and be super excited about his future, but also at the same time hold the opposing thought in our brain that the last 3 defenses he played were the Giants, Bengals, and Cardinals. And those are not good defenses from what we know so far. I feel comfortable in saying that. And not only that, but they're also, Jim, you know this better than I do, like they are not aggressive defenses. They are hang back. I mean, we remember that Monday night game against the Bengals. Like, how many chances did they give to Jaden Daniels to just stand there while they were 30 yards back and pick off Terry McLaurin, you know? So you're not going to get that out of the Browns. This is going to be tons of man coverage. You're going to get one safety high. You're going to get a huge pressure rate. I think I'm leaning toward a close Commanders win, but it's the line right now is Commanders -3. I think I'm on Cleveland, and it's disgusting.
I am as well. It's gross. It just feels the game feels gross though. Like I was kind of trending that way with what I was saying. I usually do a U-turn just to be clear to everybody, a legal one, like one like at a like on an overpass, like. But yeah, with this case, I just think that there's something funky, not funky about the line, but just with regards to what we've seen so far. It'd be interesting to see if now we saw this last year. I remember I've mentioned this game before, but you mentioned Stroud. When Stroud overcame that T.J. Watt Steelers defense, it just like kind of cemented that they felt real, and they continue to do that. So this will be an interesting litmus test for this team.
Agreed. The line seems right to me. Washington should be favored. It just strikes me that usually we get the regression. Usually we get the rookie not being perfect. So there you go. But I don't think the Colts-Jacksonville game is very good. Do we have a lot of Jags fans in the chat? I know we do. Many. I hear from a lot of Jags fans on Twitter, via email.
Yeah.
The wires. Exactly. So the Colts are very, very banged up. They're banged up on defense in a very big way. Are you having to write Colt defensive player previews here for ESPN?
Sometimes, yeah, thankfully, because it depends how good the players are. So they don't have many right now. So thank you. Thankfully,
so you get to stay away. And then Jonathan Taylor's not going to play. Anthony Richardson, it seems like he's going to play. It seems like that was like a extreme pain moment, but like bruise more than, like ligament damage, which is good. But he's also, Joe Flacco probably did something in that game against the Steelers that I'm not sure Anthony Richardson would have done. And meantime, here's Jacksonville 0-4. Your boy, Doug Peterson. If he loses this game, dude, I think he might be out the door.
Yeah, he was he was there last week too. I feel like every week is a new battle for him. Yeah, It's all end game bosses. This is hard to read. This is hard to read because I also don't believe very much in this Trevor Lawrence thing. But I do actually believe in Jacksonville's defense to a degree. I think there is talent. I love saying front seven, but really like Walker, like the number 1 pick Walker, like had the quietest 10 sacks, like to kind of like validate that he's good. And then they have like $100 million in linebackers. I hope they're good. They seem kind of good. And then the rest of it, let's not talk about. But like those players are good, and I think that's an impact on this matchup because this Indianapolis team has to beat you. Like with Larry Richardson's playing, they either have to punch you in the face or hit 80-yard bombs. There's like nothing in between.
Yeah. I don't trust the Colts very much, and I really don't trust them without Jonathan Taylor. Can I give you an update from the chat about the Jags? MMD says Jaguars. That's all that needs to be said. That's a genius comment. Media Junkie says Jags have fans. Max says Wires fans equals 0. Kenny says, who doesn't love a team with Blake Bortles at quarterback? I think probably he's not playing this week, but historically, I totally take your meaning. Kevin says the Wires led by the Saluki himself. FX says, sadly, yes, it was always the Jags. We found one. It's FX. And Max has a question. Trevor Lawrence sucks, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. He's just a good guy. He's a Jag, which is the craziest part.
Wow.
But I actually real quick, I got chased out of their stadium. I think it's the same stadium. Good job, guys. I got chased out of their stadium in like 2003, um, because I had signs. Like I had signs, and one of them was one of them was gold and teal. Was there nothing left? And then the other one said you wish there was NASCAR on. There was a couple bad ones, and it was bad. We got chased out. I was 20 something. It's okay. I don't believe this now. Yeah.
Wow. These are
Yeah. We lost the game.
great.
They got chased out. It was Jimmy Smith, Mark Brunell. That's how old it was. So
Great stories though. I'm on Jags -2.5 over the Colts here.
yeah, I am also giving the points with the Jaguars just because I don't think I'm at the point where I really truly don't think the Steichen thing. I can't say the word anymore. There's no more Steichening. Okay.
There's no more Steichening. Yeah, no, all your Steichen love feels like it's maybe was misplaced.
It's a house of cards. Yeah.
Love this game. Bills at Texans feels like the divisional round on January 17th. It's going to be Houston at Buffalo, but this is going to be Buffalo at Houston. And I guess I think we know what Houston is, and we both really like what Houston is. So let's put them aside for the analysis part of this because, Baltimore felt like a good bet on Sunday night last week. And it felt like because that's just how things go, that you get the stinker when someone looks invulnerable. But then you get the super vulnerable looking game, and suddenly it sends you into like an existential crisis. And, it's all well and good to say, well, don't worry, it's one game. But the first good team they play, I just go, yeah, it feels like an existential crisis.
Yeah. Well, it is an existential crisis, right? Because like you're saying with regards to the Ravens, right? Like,
well, to the Bills, how they played.
Right. I mean, the Bills, like the Bills have a thing now where at some point, like we talked about Josh Allen, it's working. I don't know how it's exactly working, like because I drafted so many of them in fantasy and it's not working other than Josh Allen, but he's this one-man band kind of guy, right? So it's continuing to work, like, and I don't understand how it does.
That it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, that it doesn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, that it doesn't. Yes, I know. Yeah, they got whooped. Yes, I'm sorry.
Right. So that's what I was trying to say. I said it into roundabout a way is all's well and good, and the Bills are unanimously the best team in the league, and Josh Allen is the clear MVP, and then they look like that on Sunday night, and suddenly I do personally go, I know it's supposed to only be one game, but holy crap, that was horrible.
Yeah. I don't know why my brain did that, but yes, they were the team that got destroyed, obviously. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, but the Bills, they do this though. This is what they do almost every year. They've done this to us with Miami before, where they destroy Miami and then they show up in a game. And yeah, I also then don't understand the pricing on the game. Then what are they saying about Houston then? Right? I know we're not just talking about the line, but with regards to what does it say to the bounce back factor here? Because they're favored on the road, so they're saying they're the better team.
Okay, so I don't know that. Okay, you got a little lost on this game. I got it.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
You're saying that you don't think that the one bad game really means anything. I'm saying it scared the hell out of me.
Okay.
But like, I guess I'm okay with the idea that, yeah, the market does seem to be thinking that the Bills are going to be fine. They are saying that they're better than the Texans on the neutral field, as you said. I think if Houston just doesn't commit 1,000 penalties on offense, they're probably 4-0 right now. And I think the Bills are unbelievably banged up on defense, and I don't like their safeties at all. And I've been on the Texans all year, obviously, and it's served well except for one time. I strongly feel like this is a weird line, and last week scared the poo out of me, and I don't know that the Bills should be a road favorite.
Yeah, no, I do question the road favorite part, and I veered off there. I apologize, but what it reminds me of is, I suppose it reminds me a little bit of like the Kansas City esteem, where they can have this bad game, and then there's this belief that they'll get their legs back, and I suppose like that's the belief of this line, and even if I believe this will be a close game, I'm taking Houston.
So we are very much in sync, which is either going to be really good or really bad. We got a lot of similar picks. It's another revenge game because Stephon Diggs obviously wants to smash. Brandon Bennett says Stephon Diggity revenge game. We've got Brandon saying not a trash bag at all. We've got Zach saying, do you think that Diggs and Allen do a bro hug?
No.
No, I don't think so either. And Max asks the key question, which is how many revenge games before it becomes revenge week?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, they should do
7.
a revenge week. Yeah,
no, the answer's 7.
Over under.
The answer's
okay.
Yeah, it's over under 7.
Okay, 6.5.
All right.
Yeah.
A game I don't particularly want to spend any time on. The Dolphins in their current state, which is really depressing. They're going to the Footy Pajama Patriots, and New England is favored by 1. Give me no talk on this game. Just tell me your pick.
Footy Pajamas.
Me too.
Puts,
Patriots -1.
Yeah,
I'm on it with you. All right. The Ravens, the aforementioned, who are the ones who did the blowing out of the Buffalo Bills, they're traveling to Cincinnati, and the Bengal offense certainly showed up against Carolina's defense. Not that great, but I kind of believe in the Bengals offense. The problem is that, like, I believe the Bengal defense exists, but I've seen enough to think, like, the one-handed interception against Kansas City is lovely. But I don't know that Cam Taylor-Britt can play, and I'm pretty sure he got benched for part of the Carolina game last week. And I don't know what they're doing on defense. Is Lou Anarumo just, like, terrified of his defensive personnel? You've probably been paying even more attention than I have. I am very scared of that Bengal defense.
Yeah, he kind of has almost always been this way, where he's always had this weird center field thing, like I mentioned before. It's really old school.
Sure.
But he used to have the players to do it. You know, he had Von Bell when he was in his prime, and he obviously had Jesse Bates, who, like, is a center fielder, and he continues to play, so he's not matching his personnel at all. They tried to do that thing where they drafted Dax Hill, and they don't, like, he made a position change in year 1, which is obviously not good.
Not great.
And so they just don't, they've invested, and they're not the team that ever, if their draft picks don't hit, they just call you back. Like, they just call Von Bell back 3 years later. That's what they do. Von Bell comes back every 20 years to Cincinnati. So that's the issue, is that Lou Out, like, it's not that different than Fangio. He continues to ply the same trade, and, like, the league is like, no, wait, we know what you're doing. And that's the problem. And in division, I think the familiarity context here is just crazy.
However, Justin Dadbod in the chat has a really good point, Jim, which is that you can't pick against Cincinnati wearing that shirt.
I know. Yeah. Well, you know, I can, because later on, Denver's still on the line.
Oh, good point. Otherwise, I was going to say take it off, but then again, maybe that would violate the YouTube terms of service. We might be shut down. It's possible.
It would be a Chris Farley documentary. We don't want that.
So I mean, the Ravens as a road favorite scare me a lot of the time. I got to be honest; they do scare me a lot of the time. I'm the dummy who took them, who thought Dallas would beat them, and took the road dog there. I mean, the home dog there. So it makes me a little nervous. Lamar does tend to kind of, like, lose focus a little bit, but I think the Ravens kind of blow doors here. -2.5 road favorite. I'm taking it.
Yeah, I don't want to keep picking with you, but I picked these games before we talked, and I really actually think they just run all over them. I think it's like Derrick Henry and a cloud of dust. So
it's I mean, I kind of. Caleb says, talk about a like storm if the shirt comes off. I agree.
Oh,
that would be insane.
Well, then,
in fact, let's do one more.
Like, can
we do one more like spike? Can we do one more? Because we have new people who've come in and left and stuff. And actually, if you're watching this after we've done, it's not a live stream to you. It's just a regular video. Hit like when I say 3, 2, 1. It still helps. So here we go. We're doing one more like spike. 3, 2, 1. Like the video. Oh, look at that. So many hearts. I appreciate you all so much. You're going to make this video be more discoverable. Even the people who are doing it in the future. I can just sense how much love there is from you. I appreciate that.
Jordan love.
Very, very, very good point. He's coming up here soon. The 49ers, after having, I don't know, toyed around with the Patriots some, they wound up covering. Like, I didn't bet that game because I just felt like, why would I bet a college team playing against a pro team? It doesn't feel like a good thing to do. But Arizona's a better team than New England, and they're going to San Francisco this time around. The Cardinals, If you only looked at the first drive of the Commanders game, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, great effort. And isn't the Commanders defense supposed to be one of the ones we're taking advantage of? And like Kyler Murray, dude, or as you would say, Mary, I get it.
Yeah, Kyler Murray.
I mentioned this on the podcast, and folks who are watching the video may not have listened to the podcast. But on Monday, I mentioned with Jamie Eisenberg from CBS, there's a play. It's a 3rd and 1. Is it a 4th and 1? And he's standing there, and he's standing there, and he's standing there, and like, run for the first down. You're Kyler Murray, and he's just like sacked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what goes through the guy's head sometimes.
Yeah, him and Jalen Hurts are on the same Call of Duty league or something. Like, it's just that there's a lot of like, pass, do something. There has to be some, especially when you have that skill set. It's even more frustrating. Excuse me. Yeah, there's a lot of also. I thought this offense was going to be like fun and spread the ball around. It just seems like it's kind of like a shadow Cliff Kingsbury government. So it's just strange.
So it's a lot of horizontal raid is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that or it's just like throw it 50 yards to Greg Dortch, which is like, what are we doing? Like, he's 3 feet tall.
Yeah. I'm dismayed by the Cardinals, and I don't know. I mean,
they're a wild card type team to me. Not to make the playoffs, but they're a wild card volatile team.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. I was trying to get it out of my mouth. Like, I liked how they played against the Bills. They hung in that game all the way through. I liked how they play. Like, they certainly come up with games where Mary, just calamari, as we like to call him, winds up looking like the dude who should have been the number 1 overall pick. And then he has games like last week. He does, in general, seem to rise to the occasion against the 49ers.
Yeah. And opens games up with multiple touchdowns right away. So it's interesting. So hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Well, so the Niners are a 7.5-point favorite hosting Arizona. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm taking the points here. I really do understand that the Niners have played well. But that means you can't pick them, so that's great. So yeah.
you gotta do the double reverse whammy, and I'm with you, man. Once again, we got so many picks in common. I had this line at 7.
I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna tank you. This is the point.
What was I going to say? Media Junkie says San Francisco overrated. Take Arizona and the points. Joe M says that the Cards usually play the Niners tougher than we think, taking those points easy. So there you go. I mean, we're all doing the same thing.
Jake Plummer, it's time.
Little Jake Plummer. Isn't there a Jack Plummer in the league now?
Are we that? I'm old. Yeah, I don't know.
I think there is a Jack Plummer. It's maybe his nephew.
Well, he's like a designer mushroom seller now, like
Jake Plummer is not Jack. Yeah, Jack is
no. Don't drug test him because of this, please.
All right, we'll go quick on the Giants Seahawks. The Seahawks offense played really well against the Lions, but they just, the defense. I'm real worried about that defense. What am I trying to say? Mike McDonald comes with a reputation, and he arrives, and there's a few star type defenders, especially the 2 defensive backs that we go, wow, okay, that's really something to build around. And they play 3 relatively easy offenses to play, and they go 3-0, and we all go, Mike McDonald, there you go. Of course he was going to immediately. And then they play 1 real offense, and I immediately am like, oh no, they're not going to. Any offense that's good, they're gonna give up 40 points too. Yeah,
I've seen this before. We see these defenses, and this is absolutely obviously one of them. I guess they're hollow up the middle. Like, they made some investments on the edge, and they haven't panned out. And they're like, yeah, they're not that good apparently. Because also, even people forget. They look at the win column. Maybe they don't forget. Why do I say that? People might remember that the Patriots game was a kick. It was a gross kind of a slog of a game. It wasn't like some domination. And also the way that they ran the ball, like, there was a lot of opportunities for the Patriots to win that game is my point. It wasn't just like a 100%. Lucky thing. It was a real game. Agree. So yeah, I think there's going to be multiple ways to take it to this team. And also to be a little fair to McDonald, like, he hasn't had his recruiting class or whatever. He hasn't been able to bring in his guys yet. But at the same point, his system is the du jour system, at least people that have people talked about it, except it continues to work in Baltimore because they have good players. So
Yeah, and I mean it's a little harsh to Seahawks fans because they did
Sure.
they drafted the defensive tackle out of Texas, and
Right.
he's hurt, and they
Right.
have Leonard
Exactly.
And he's hurt.
Exactly.
So
That's what I mean.
and
They've
actually,
injuries
as of our
everywhere.
right as of our recording this, I don't know that they're not back, and if they are back, maybe I feel a little different about this game. And if Malik Neighbors is out, I don't want any part of the Giants. So if I'm allowed to put a little asterisk on this one, there's no non-quarterback who I think maybe means more to a given team than I think Neighbors might mean to the Giants. And I don't think it, like, I set this line at 5, so it's 6, and so I'm going to be on the Giants here until Malik Neighbors is ruled out, in which case I am very much not on the Giants. But yes, I kind of just think we could get another track meet.
I think that too, but I think it could be a track meet where like one team is just faster, and that would be Seattle. I just think that in terms of getting in, even with Neighbors, I think getting into let's put up points will work on the. Also, it's not a revenge game. Well, no, it is a revenge game. Geno Smith played for the Giants, so it is. Remember they pulled him and they made Eli play? Revenge game.
Revenge game. Oh my God, we're approaching Revenge Week. Keegan says hopefully Neighbors plays. He does look bloody good. I completely agree. Dry Erase Girl is in here.
Awesome.
Viola James, who we all love from her songs on the podcast and from her just being a nice person in general. So hello to old Viola, young Viola, just Viola. I'm going to do your shirt team because you clearly wore this shirt in honor of the Broncos, not the Bengals, we've learned. So it's the Broncos hosting the Raiders. Just give me a pick. It's Raiders. The Broncos are favored by 2.5.
Yeah, it's like reverse psychology. I wore this to remind myself to never pick the Broncos. So go Raiders. Yeah.
Are you taking the Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So neither orange team. You took neither orange team.
Well, because it was a reminder. Don't do the orange teams.
Okay.
I would have taken them otherwise. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's I ate a donut so that I remember donut bet on the orange teams.
Yeah. I have a Polaroid. I just put it in. That's how I diet. I just put it in my fridge. So that's.
I mean, I wore a brown piece of upper garment here, and I picked the Browns.
You did.
Come on. And I'm on the Broncos, and I'm on the Broncos heavy here. We'll hear about that in a little bit. I have one push game this week, one where I nailed the point spread, only one, which is rare for me. The Packers are coming here to Los Angeles, and I say it every week, but if you think the Chiefs had a lot of fans here, if you think the 49ers had a lot of fans here, just wait till you see how many fans the Packers have. The Packers are favored by 3 here in neutral Los Angeles.
Yeah, we talked about like teams that are like kind of limping around. I guess that's like a theme in the league. The Rams are like the West Coast epitome of that right now, and
that offense is
they're
really
just
beating up.
Limping along. It's like just like the waiver wire special. But at the same time, like they weren't that good to begin with, which is the problem. Like they were kind of falling apart prior to all this, which is interesting because it's almost like this line actually gives them a little bit of respect. But I actually had this. This threw me off. This was one of the lines that threw me off. This will come up later for me. So,
what did you have it at? Packers what?
I had it at 5. Yeah. I think they're just a way. I think last week was also just so many turnovers with Jordan Love. Like I just think they also looked really good too. I think there's a world where if he cuts out like 4 turnovers, maybe they're gonna score a lot. So.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
Then no problem. That should be easy.
Yeah.
Blake Bortles is over here going, oh, it was hard for me. Yeah. That's how he talks. So I don't have a pick on that one. I nailed that line. So you're on the Packers -3. We got the Sunday night game for Gen Xers. It will always probably ring a little fun when the Steelers and Cowboys play, because when we were little kids, that was the Super Bowl every year. It seemed like, I don't know, to me anyway.
Neil O'Donnell.
What's that?
Neil O'Donnell. Right.
Well, no, I'm talking about the previous one when we were really little kids.
Okay.
No Parsons, no Micah Parsons, no DeMarcus Lawrence. No second corner, frankly, because Bland is hurt, right? I don't think he's not coming back.
Isn't Cooks hurt too? So Brandon Cooks.
That's on offense though. I'm just talking. Yeah, I'm just talking about the defense. Yeah. You're right. Brandon Cooks has been ruled out for this game too. I'm not that worried about Brandon Cooks being out, but I would be real worried if I'm a Cowboy fan that there's no Micah Parsons. That's the big one. And DeMarcus Lawrence is kind of important too. And your secondary's been a bit of a mess. Now, I will grant you, last week I came on this show and said the Giants are going to run all over them. I said start Devin Singletary in fantasy. The one thing the Giants didn't do in that game was run all over them. And the Steelers are clearly going to try to run all over Dallas in this game because that's what they do. So you tell me, what's the real Cowboy defense? What are your odds that the Steeler run game will get its business done? Can the Cowboys unexpectedly stand up to a run game despite missing all these guys?
This would be quite the test, right? Like, this is it. Like, can you put together some kind of game plan to do this? Because like, at least identity-wise, what Arthur's going to do, right?
Sure.
What this offense. He's a first-name basis offensive coordinator. Like, what he's going to come out and try to do is just punch you in the face. The answer, to the general vibe of all those questions is, I don't know if they can handle like a first-round punch right now, and particularly just because of those losses. Like, they are a fragile team to begin with. Like, just a lot of that's the kind of the cost sometimes, particularly if run it the way they do. But they're a fragile team. And they're paying the cost. So, yeah, I've Schadenfreude isn't even coming through. It's just a shame because I actually like these players. I would like to see Micah Parsons in the field, but unfortunately, it's equivalent of if we were pricing this game with TJ Watt out. That's who he is. So it's that significant. So that's the problem.
I agree with that statement. Whether you like the Cowboys or not, Micah Parsons is freaking awesome.
Oh,
he's just awesome. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, I just made a face because people probably didn't see. It was not an LA earthquake. I just kicked the camera stand, so it went a little.
It was my commentary. It was so amazing.
It shocked me.
He's on a yacht.
Yeah, it was the waves. That's fair.
Yeah.
It was the waves. My tendency is to think that the Steelers are just, gonna get. They kind of got revealed a little bit last week, and as the season goes along, that they'll kind of be, generally speaking, Mike Tomlin's going to have them at 8-9, but like the fraud thing,
you lose half of them. Yeah, you lose half of those. Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's not that good a team, and he's a good motivator, and they're going to try to just keep the scatter chart pretty narrow. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. They do have a narrow path. That's true. So if it deviates from that, they're in trouble.
They know who they are. I guess it's one of those things.
Sure.
I'm going to be on Pittsburgh here. I think I'm giving these points. The Steelers are a 2.5-point favorite over the Cowboys, and who would have believed that a month ago? And the market is clearly factoring in these defensive injuries. They must be. I don't see a world where Pittsburgh can win this game by 3 touchdowns. I do see a world where the Cowboys can, because the offense is really good. But we figure that nobody's going to really do that to the Steeler defense.
No, and that's true, and it's also I don't know how much they're gonna have the ball just with regards to just if that plays out that way. So
yeah. So are you on Steelers?
Yeah, I'm also giving the points. Yeah. So.
All right, and then we only have one Monday night game. What a disappointment! To only have one Monday night game, and I think it is a pretty good one. And to be honest, ESPN probably didn't ever expect it was going to be this good because the Saints, while they lost at the buzzer last week, they're obviously a good and competitive team and could easily be 4-0 with some different breaks down the stretch of the Eagles and Falcons games. They're not great, but they're not terrible. They're going to Kansas City, and the Chiefs have an identity issue in general. I mean, we all know, anybody who's watching the Chiefs every week, we all know that they've become a kind of a boring offensive team and trying to win with defense and letting the other team make mistakes. And God knows Derek Carr will make some mistakes. I think God quite literally knows that Derek Carr will make some mistakes. Is it enough? Is what the Chiefs are doing enough? Not to we know, I'm not talking about January. I'm talking about now, zeitgeist. Are they not it seems like the Patriots did this. That's our, the Brady Patriots is our analog for this. But they were never this brazen about it. The Chiefs are just acting bored.
This is LeBron James level boredom. This is this is wine tasting Instagram reel. It's just wait, we just lost 3 games and you're drinking wine. I guess there's a level of but there's a level of
they're 4-0 they can get away with it.
Yes, that's what it is. They have license, as would be the word, and they continue to get away with it. So it's they can't get away with it again. It's like, gosh, it's a Scooby-Doo episode, except they keep getting away every time. So it's really not a Scooby-Doo episode. And Andy Reid is who they reveal every time. And so, in the end, those damn kids, but in the end, they continue to replicate it. And I don't know how, especially with the erosion that continues to happen, because this was supposed to be the exciting fireworks year. And then slowly each piece has gone away. And like the rookie sensation looked like that happened once. And now what are we dealing with Rice? So it's interesting. And, I don't want to say what I spent Fab on Carson Steele. We're not going to talk about that. But the main point being, their identity is that they don't need an identity on offense. It's just they don't.
And so, like, it's almost the experience of being the fan of the clear favorite, which I was for a long time, is weird because you have this week by week, like, guys, this isn't, it's like we're talking about 1 week and what we think might happen without any ramifications for how we think that impacts them down the road.
Right.
All the negative stuff that I ever say about the Chiefs, I still think they're going to win the Super Bowl because I think they're just that much better and they kind of figured out how to not make mistakes when everybody else make mistakes. And yet every week I feel like when the line is more than a field goal, I go, yeah, the Chiefs want to win by a field goal. Good. I'll take the Saints plus 4.5.
Yeah. I hate that we're on the same picks all the time, but they're not interested in covering. Like they're the Al Michaels Devil team. Like they don't really care. They're not going to do like a late touchdown just to help you out and cover, right? They're not going to get the over on a late touchdown. So it's
Can I
just
tell you
case.
that? Oh, sorry. Can I tell you that Zach in the chat, Zach Short, just said I'm parlaying Chiefs money line and Saints plus 4.5.
Yes, that's what you should do. That's exactly it. Play the middle. There it goes.
Yeah, play the middle. That's very good. All right. Well, so we made it all the way through, and now we're going to give you our best bets. But if you have a point spread bet that you like in the chat, let us know. And if you're watching this after the fact, you're not live with us, you're from the future, you probably have more information than we do. So down in the chat, leave a comment. Tell us I see you. Stop not leaving a comment. Leave a comment. You didn't leave that many last week. So we get thousands of people watching these videos. Not very many comments. Come on. Leave a comment. I don't think yelling at the viewers is going to work. Sorry.
I like it.
Very. Let me also say that we will pick somebody who makes a right pick, and we're going to shout them out on next week's show. Last week, Adam Daniels, I'm not sure if you're here today, Adam, but you, as I, were on the Raiders last week, and that wound up being correct. Oh, no, I actually think I might have been on the other side. I can't remember. I only lost 2 games, did I mention? So, Jim, who are your 2 favorite bets?
One would be the Packers in Lambeau, California.
Right.
And the other one would be, surprisingly, but it's the way I feel about this game, the Jaguars, the Wires.
The Wires.
Against the wall. It's a kick game, but it's also obviously the spread. It's just Richardson's a hot mess, and they're missing, I think, their engine. So, yeah.
All right. I'm going to be on Houston for all the reasons you gave us that I agree with. I'm going to be on Houston as a home dog. And we didn't talk about the game, but I like Denver's defense an awful lot, and I think pressure on Gardner Minshew is going to lead to, what do they say? Pressure bursts pipes. I'm going to be on Denver as well. So Houston +1, Denver -2.5 for me. But what do you think? Let us know in the live chat. You only have a couple minutes here, 1 minute left to let us know in the live chat. But you can also leave a comment, and we would love for you to leave a comment, like the video, all that fun stuff. We really appreciate you watching. We had fun making this show, and if you are interested in DraftKings, please do sign up using that code HarrisTube because it does help us. They're keeping track of that kind of thing. So if you do it, if you finally get a DraftKings account, use that code HarrisTube. We appreciate it. That's going to do it for Week 5 preview. I hope you enjoy the games this weekend. It should be a pretty cool weekend, and I will be up at 6 in the morning to watch football on Sunday, which that's awesome. Jim, thanks for doing this. Dave, the producer in our ears, we really appreciate you very much, Dave. All the people who are live, you're great. You're awesome. We love reading your comments. Thank you for being here. And everybody watching, you're great. Thank you. We'll see you next time.